You've probably seen these grow lights a million times in other houseplant videos, but is it worth it? In my opinion, it is, and I'll explain that kind of throughout the video. Today I'll be installing the plantspectrum 32 grow light to the underside of my plant shelf right here, as I want all my plants on the floor to receive that top-down light. I also got this cool accessory. It is a hanging wire. The cool thing about this is it's actually custom made for this grow light, but it also allows me to make adjustments to the height. So obviously it has a clip here, and then you can adjust the length of the wire itself. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. So I'm going to open up the box and let's get started. Choosing a grow light can be confusing and overwhelming, as there's basically an infinite amount of options out there, terminology, all that kind of stuff. I do a lot of reading and research on grow lights and like the quality of grow lights, and I still have a lot to learn. So I hope I can pass along a little bit of insight as to why I think these grow lights are worth it. Okay, so in the box, this is how it comes. It's got some accessories, got some cords, and it has the light. I've been using this grow light for a little over 6 months now. I have two downstairs here in my plant workshop area, but I also have one upstairs in my bedroom. It's on the top of my windowsill, just providing some top-down light to some plants that would normally receive lower light in that location. Now, this is obviously a very unique looking light, and I think that's why most people buy it. My plant workshop area here was consumed by those clunky clamp utility lights. I absolutely hated the way it looked. Another confusing area when choosing a grow light is the cost of a grow light. You can find them anywhere from like $30 with these clamp lamps. Mid-range ones, you know, a couple $100s, or you can get your like high quality commercial grade ones for like thousands of dollars. I guess all I'm gonna really say to that is you get what you pay for. I've had many of these cheaper lights that have failed within a year. They don't even turn on. The determining factor between a good quality grow light and a cheap one is obviously the components that come with the light. This is a very sturdy, high quality light. It comes with an aluminum body, and I'll talk more about that kind of throughout the video. But for right now, I just want to get this thing installed. So I'm looking for a couple components. Comes with some power adapter plugs, comes with some screws, but I'm looking for these two little clips or tabs. I'm going to take off the top of the light here. It just allows these tabs to slide into this fancy little groove here, and this will allow me to hang it on my plant shelf. Comes with obviously two of those little clips, and then an Allen wrench, which I'm just going to take off the top cap here. You don't need to take all three screws out, just take two, and then the cap just rolls off to the side there, and then you just slide these little clips into the channel. And then just retighten these screws. This is a waterproof housing as well, so if you want to use it in a high humidity location, that is completely okay as well. So I'm just going to snug these up here. I bought these hooks for the shelf, so it comes like this. I'm obviously going to attach this to the underside of the shelf, and then it has this hook. It's got like a little swivel hook where I can attach the wire to, and that's pretty much it. So I said earlier, these wires are custom made to this grow light. You just screw in the end of the attachment to those clips, so it hangs like that. I think this is absolutely genius, because I actually went on Amazon to see if I could find some sort of wire setup that would work with this light, and then I went back on their website just to see if they had some sort of accessory, and they did. If you're hanging your light, I would definitely get this. Just makes the installation much easier. Okay, here's what it looks like installed. I'm just going to set this down. Now I have to install the hooks. I have to do a little bit of measuring and math. The plant shelf is 120 centimeters. So I want the hooks in kind of equal space between each other. So I just divided that into thirds. So it'll be 40 centimeters in on each side, and then there'll be a 40 centimeter gap in the middle as well. Okay, I'm just gonna measure here quickly. Roughly 40 centimeters is to this point right there. I'm just gonna peel this off, and I want my hook to be right about there. I'm going to re-measure, just make sure I got it roughly in the right spot. Look at that, exactly 40. I think I'm gonna take down my lipstick plant here for a moment as well, just so I can see what I'm doing here. Same thing with this. I'm just going to measure 40 centimeters, which is right here. Now my hook was facing outwards on the other side, so I want that same orientation. So something like that. Okay, I'm just going to place this back on the shelf, but it's getting tangled up and everything here. So about dropping it. Okay, so that's kind of nice because it conceals the hook here as well. And then you just take the light and put it on the hooks. Okay, well that I'm gonna have to bring it up a bit more. And I'm gonna have to center this as well, something like that. And I'm definitely gonna have to cut some of these wires just to trim it up a little bit. I want it something like that. On the website, it does have a plant guide that gives you measurements of how far to place your light in relation to the plants. Most need around that medium light, and 50 centimeters is kind of the recommended distance between the grow light and the plants. So right here, it's just basically touching the tops of the leaves that are growing up on the plank. So that's exactly what I want. And then I'm going to make an adjustment to this dangling wire. I just used some wire cutters and I snipped off the excess on the end here. So it's a nice clean cut. And now the wire will just sit inside the channel housing like that. And I'll do the same for this side as well. So roughly, I'll keep it that long and then just snip it off. Just so it has a nice clean appearance. Everything looks nice and tidy. And then just slip that in the center channel there. Oh yeah, there. Now all I have to do is plug it in. It has a little on-off switch here as well. I'm going to be hooking it up to a timer system. I just have to find the North American plug. It's just a twist. There, locks in, so you got that. The plug, I will be taping the wire to the wall just so it has a nice clean look, but otherwise I'm just going to plug it in and we'll turn it on. Okay, I have it roughly leveled. Now let's test it out. Here's my little switch. I'm going to stand back. That's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted for this area. Now coming from this side, you can just see how much light that it does project down to the plants on the floor here. I might have to play with the height a little bit here, but otherwise I'm really happy with how it's performing so far. I'm just gonna turn it off here real quick with the little switch just to show you the difference. So that's off right now. That's crazy. So yeah, this is going to be a huge added benefit to this area, especially the ones on the planks. They will continue to grow up. But the ones on the floor here, they were getting a little bit lower light. And I was having to move around one of my plant spectrum lights. This one over here, actually, I was kind of moving it around from one area to another. Now that kind of eliminates that issue. I'm going to keep this one here so that this area of my plants on planks can continue to get light. It was a little bit darker in this area. But over here I have another plant spectrum that's giving light to this area where it was previously provided with some of those clamp lamps. Really happy that I was able to eliminate all that. I think it looks fantastic. I'm glad this is a waterproof light as well, because you can see my humidifier is just pumping out the mist. Not that it's going to damage the light or anything like that, but it should hold up quite nice to the humidity in this area. Everything's growing really well. Everything's looking really nice. I am super happy about the quality of light that's being projected down into or onto the leaves here. I like to use a digital light meter to help me with the placement of the light, and I use the foot candle measurement. Now this is kind of deceiving because this is a measurement of light that is visible to the human eye. This is not necessarily what the plant is receiving, but like I said, this is just a very basic guideline to help me with the placement of the grow light, and I'll show you why here in a second. Anywhere between 50 and 250 is low light, 250 to 500 foot candles is kind of that medium light range. 500 to 1,000 foot candles is considered highlight, and anything above 1,000 foot candles is generally your full sun or direct sunlight. Now, when I bring the light sensor, which is pointing towards the light, to the very bottom of my plants, it's in the low light range around 200. And as I bring it closer to the light, you can see obviously the foot candles are increasing. So this is kind of into that highlight, medium highlight range right now. And you can see how close it is to the light. So if you have a plant that requires a lot of sunlight, like a cactus or a succulent, you see how close the grow light does have to be in relation to the plant. Whereas if you have, say, like a philodendron or anthurium, they're in kind of that medium light category. So you can see how far the light source is from the plant. So it obviously depends on the type of plant and the light requirements, and then you can make your adjustments with the height of a grow light. So if it requires high light, then the grow light itself has to be close to the plant. And if it's a low light or medium, then you can obviously extend it a little bit further down like I have it right now. There is some really confusing terminology in regards to grow lights, and I've been doing tons of research to educate myself a little bit more about how my plants use these grow lights. These are all LED grow lights and how they affect the plants and the placement and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try and do my best to explain in basic terms some of the terminology out there for grow lights. Now there is lux, there's lumens, there's par, there's PPFD, CRI, there's a ton of stuff out there. I'm going to start off with lux and lumens. These are the metric equivalent to a foot candle. So it is the light that is visible to the human eyes, not necessarily what the plant is receiving. So lumens is the total amount of light emitted by a light source. Lux is the visible light that is falling onto a certain object, like a plant, leaf, or that sort of thing. So it is just simply a light measurement, same with foot candles. Now for the really confusing terminology, and I'm still learning all this myself as well, so I hope I get this right and don't provide any misleading information. The first is par. Par is not a measurement, it's simply a wavelength or spectrum of visible light, and full spectrum grow lights are in the ranges of 400 to 700 nanometers on the par scale. Now PPF, I'm just going to look down, the photosynthetic photon flux is the unit of measurement which can be calculated that determines how much par a light source is emitting. I'm going to scroll down here. I just got my phone down here. PPFD, it is the photosynthetic photon flux density. That is the amount of light or the usable light that a plant gets on the plant surface. So that is the number, again, through a calculation of how much par your plant is actually receiving on the plant leaf as it photosynthesizes. Super confusing. I don't fully understand it myself. There's so many other determining factors about this measurement, like we talked about earlier about the light placement, just a ton of different things. This is just the very basic explanation of how your plant uses grow lights, specifically LED grow lights. On the Mother website, they have all the specs for the PPFD. The par, it says it's a 92% par. I don't know if that means it's receiving 92% of the full spectrum of light. I'm not too sure, to be honest. They have the PPF ratings there as well. Everything you want to know or need to know about grow light. I don't think it's really reasonable to expect the average user to know all these terms without doing countless hours of research. But I think it's important just to understand the basics of how your grow lights affect your houseplants. The last term that I want to bring up is CRI, and that's basically a scale of 0 to 100 of how an object would look if it was in natural light. The plant spectrum grow lights, they have a color rendering index of 98, which basically means how the plant looks underneath the grow lights is almost exactly how it would look if it was receiving natural sunlight. It's kind of a neat scale just to know that this is a natural type of light, whereas some grow lights, they have a little bit more of that pink and reds, and some have a little bit of that cooler bluish tone as well, which can be a little bit unattractive when you have a large amount of plants or you want to show off some plants. So this is as close to a natural lighting source as you can get from a grow light. Hopefully all that terminology made sense and I didn't lose you guys. Hopefully you're still watching this video, but I just wanted to give just a very basic breakdown of how your lights work in relation to your plants. If you're interested in purchasing any mother grow light products, I do have a discount code of EVERYTHINGPLANTS. Just follow the link down in the description of this video. I'll leave it there. You get $10 US off of a purchase order of $169. So use that discount code to save yourself some money. So I think that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it down in the comments section. If you're interested in more houseplant videos, click this video right here. Otherwise, thanks again for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye.